The player selection is over. I wonder if there are any new players in Firefly Town. There should be, but there were 5 last month. The land of Shengzia. Qianzhong City, Yinghuo Town. On the last day of May, the temperature has gradually risen. At noon, several young people in their 20s and 30s wearing short-sleeved shorts sat chatting in the hall. Wait a minute, if you become a player, you will come here to register soon. This is the branch of the Shengzia Players Alliance in Firefly Town. Shengzia stipulates that all players who become players must go to the Alliance to register. If the people of Firefly Town became players, they would naturally come here. As soon as the man's voice fell, he saw a black-haired boy walking into the door. Hello, are you here to register players? Yes. Ling Yi nodded. Then please open the player panel. With a thought, he called up his personal panel. Name, Ling Yi. Player ID, 2006-660-0033. Level, 1, 0/200, Talent, Luck Strength, 3 Mana, 5 Agility, 3 Constitution, 3 Endurance, 3, Note, the average attribute of ordinary people is 3, and the upper limit is 5, Skill, Empty evaluation of combat power, ordinary people it is good. The branch lady looked at the information on the panel and recorded it into the computer. Next, she asked for Ling Yi's ID card again. After that, the player profile about him was finally created. Name, Ling Yi. Identity number, player ID, grade 1. The player profile only has these 4 pieces of information. The purpose is to bind the ID number to each player's unique player number. Talents and attributes are personal privacy and will not be recorded. As for grades, this is your Tier 1 grant money. The branch lady handed him a pitch black bank card and said, when your level reaches level 10, there will be more generous subsidies. Every 10th level in the future can come here to get it. The subsidy fund is a welfare reward plan established by Shengzia to support emerging players and promote their progress. Since rewards are issued based on levels, the information of levels is naturally displayed. It is good. Taking this bank card exclusively for players, Ling Yi turned around and was about to leave. When the branch lady saw it, she immediately stopped him. Sir, wait. Ling Yi stopped and turned to look at her. Is there anything else? A trace of doubt appeared in his dark eyes. The branch lady took out a gift bag from under the table, then pointed to the cabinet on the side and said, our Firefly branch will give each new player a small gift, you can choose one of the 2 to take away. Looking in the direction she pointed, I saw 2 solid wood cabinets standing beside the entrance of the branch. The cabinet on the left has red potions, and the cabinet on the right has yellow medicinal herbs. You should know these 2 without me telling you. The branch lady walked between the 2 cabinets and introduced, the one on the left is the primary life potion. For most players below level 10, 1 bottle can restore a lot of life. If ordinary people drink it, no matter how serious the blood loss is, they can immediately recover completely. The one on the right is a stamina pill, it's used to restore stamina. Both are the lowest level items, and both can be easily obtained in the divine way. Therefore, Ling Yi didn't think much about it, and said casually, physical strength pill. Stamina pills? But life potions are more valuable. Well, that life potion. The branch lady smiled and led Ling Yi to the door. Under his gaze, she put both the primary life potion and the stamina pill into the gift bag. Ling Yi was stunned for a moment, and took the gift bag from the smiling branch lady. Thanks. I don't know if he was infected by her smile or felt the warmth, but he couldn't help but smile. When he got home, Ling Yi put the gift bag on the table, then spread it out on the sofa, letting out a long sigh of relief. Call the cells of the whole body relax in an instant. This is a small house of only 15 square meters. After he came here, the union relief workers thought he was a victim and specially provided him with a place to stay. The ID card was also issued at that time. Although the room is small, it is fully equipped, with tables, chairs, beds, and cabinets. Even, there are sofas and TVs in his room that others don't have. I don't know if it was deliberately taken care of or just accidental. I've become a player. Ling Yi murmured to himself softly, and immediately opened his eyes, a look of anticipation in his eyes. God's way. The way to become a is said by the world. Since its appearance 20 years ago, at the end of each month, there will be a player selection. Only those who pass the first million can get the player qualification. Those who have obtained the player qualifications can enter the Divine Road on the second day after the selection, that is, on the first of the following month. Officially began his career as a player and as an extraordinary person. Thinking of this, Ling Yi immediately turned on the TV, wanting to see if he could learn more information through this TV. But as soon as the TV was turned on, a lot of hot news popped up on the homepage. The 90-meter height tsunami. Another attack by the dark organization Holy Gate. I still don't know why they attacked an unnamed town. Phoenix Sword Saint Nanggong Li beheaded the 5-5 level rare monster Blue Flame Phoenix, and won the 8-star skill Phoenix Sky Phoenix. It took 3 months, the first powerhouse Yas in the White Eagle country has been upgraded again. Become the world's first level 93 player. The army of monsters has descended on the banks of the Rhine, and the once glorious Rhine city is now in ruins. The new issue of bounties has been released, and 27 new criminals with a bounty of over 100 million have been added worldwide. Even though he has only been here for a day, Ling Yi knows that this world is several times more dangerous than his previous life. Can it only be said that it is an extraordinary world? Fortunately, I live opposite the Firefly branch, so it's safe for now. But you still have to get stronger as soon as possible. No matter how strong he is, he doesn't force it. Just be able to live freely. Yesterday he sacrificed to save people. Perhaps it was God's kindness that brought him here with an 18-year-old body. Since this is the case, he will not let down this opportunity to live, and he will live as positively and optimistically as before. With that in mind, he tuned the TV to the Shenluo channel and browsed the content more seriously. 2 hours later, Ling Yi, who turned off the TV, rubbed his eyebrows and sighed helplessly. Alas! If you can't quickly establish an advantage before level 10, it will become more and more difficult later. From what he learned just now, he learned that Shenluo has a fair novice period. This makes it impossible for all players before level 10 to get resources from the family or organization behind them. For loose people like Ling Yi, this is their only chance. If you can't stand out during this period, it will be difficult to catch up with this group of people with resources. What shall we do tomorrow? As soon as the voice fell, Ling Yi heard a voice in his ear, ding. Ding, the super mutation system has awakened. What? System. Looking at the golden words that appeared in front of him, Ling Yi was stunned for a moment, and immediately became excited. System, tell me about your function. This system can mutate all mutables in the direction desired by the host. Different items have different mutation potentials. Potentials from low to high are, low, medium, high, very high, perfect. The higher the mutation potential, the greater the variation in mutation, and the more mutation points are consumed. The same item can only be mutated once. After waiting for a while, Ling Yi raised his eyebrows clearly when he saw that there was no more text. Variation. The information of the system is easy to understand. It is to change an object or something in the desired direction. The greater the change, the greater the consumption. As for the specific power, you will have to try it yourself to find out. But before that, he still needs to get the mutation point. System, how do I get this mutation point? The host can collect various emotions of nearby units. 100 emotion points can be converted into 1 mutation point. Immediately afterwards, a simple number data column appeared. Currently collected emotion value, 0, mutation point, 100. It's 100 o'clock now. Is it a novice reward? Ling Yi said subconsciously. But after waiting for a while, there was no reply, which made him realize that the system is not intelligent. Well, it's okay if it's not smart. After sighing a little, Ling Yi turned his head and cheered up. He looked at his home with a dazzling gaze. Old TV mutation potential, low, mutation not recommended. Old sofa mutation potential, low. Old table mutation potential, low. Brand new toothbrush variation potential, low. Speak up. After walking around the house twice, Ling Yi suddenly thought, except for the toothbrush and toothpaste I bought myself, other things are not strictly mine. And it's useless to mutate these everyday items. If you want to change, it's still the player's things that have more value in mutation. Saying that, he set his eyes on the gift bag on the table. When he quickly took out the two items inside, a pink letterhead floated out. Hey? This is... Picking up this letterhead, Ling Yi could still smell a faint fragrance like the blossoming of plum blossoms. There was only one line of graceful words on the letterhead. May you go through 1,000 sales and return as a teenager. Seeing this line of words, Ling Yi was taken aback for a moment, feeling a little baffled. I didn't think much about it. He habitually looked at the back again, but unexpectedly found that there were words on the back. In order to increase the number of local players in Shenmen's foreign aid, we have launched the Genius Project. Scope: June new players in Qianzhong City. Condition: the first 5 to reach level 10. Those who meet the above conditions can become one of the foreign aides of the local Shenmeng branch. Friendly reminder: after reaching level 10, please go to the local branch as soon as possible. Oh? Divine Alliance foreign aid. Ling Yi's eyes lit up. When he listened to the conversation between the uncles next door in the morning, he knew that the foreign aid of the Shenmeng was a very good part-time job. You must know that there are resident players in the God Alliance itself. They are also dispatched when something happens. Only in the case of insufficient manpower, it is possible to call for foreign aid. As a result, such part-timers may not act a few times a year. However, foreign aid can be rewarded handsomely for every action. There is even a saying that if you don't help for a year, you will eat for a year. Therefore, seeing this, Rao Shi Ling Yi was also a little moved. Now I only have the $1,000 I just received. I can fight for this part-time job of foreign aid from the Shenmeng Alliance. Anyway, it's better to have this status than nothing. He touched his chin and pondered. In fact, this kind of foreign aid is essentially a high priority. When Shenmeng needs help, it will ask the majority of players for assistance. If a player has the status of foreign aid, he can be found first. If you don't have this status, you will have to compete with other people who want to help. After all, the remuneration for foreign aid is not unlimited. Next. Ling Yi put down the letter, picked up the primary life potion and physical strength pill and looked at it. Primary life potion mutation potential, medium. Physical strength pill mutation potential, medium. At this moment, Ling Yi discovered a problem. He doesn't have the exploration skills, so he doesn't know what the specific effects of these two things describe. Even if they were mutated, he would not be able to see the effect of the mutation. In this way, it is impossible to immediately test how his golden finger is. If you say that. He turned his head to hit his panel with attention. The information on the panel is very clear. If it can be mutated, the degree of variation can be seen at once. He quickly opened the panel. As soon as it opened, a shining mutation message appeared immediately. Lucky, talent, mutation potential, perfect. Sure enough, talent can mutate. Ling Yi clenched his fist excitedly. System, I want mutant talent. He said impatiently. While saying this sentence, Ling Yi also opened up his talent and looked at the current talent effect again. Luck, talent, permanently increase luck by 1 point. Luck is one of the player's hidden attributes. But a mere value of 1 point has little effect at all. Are you sure to mutate the lucky talent? 100 mutation points are required indeed, er. Seeing that all the current mutation points would be consumed, Ling Yi couldn't help but hesitate. But soon, he made up his mind again. The highest level of mutation potential can definitely produce good things, maybe it is the capital of my rise. Yu reading www.yuyuganshu.com system, I'm sure. The voice fell. On the front panel, the word lucky in the talent column immediately blurred. And in just a short while, it turned into 4 white characters probability reversal. With an excited and nervous mood, Ling Yi gently opened it. Probability reversal, talent, all probabilistic events that are beneficial to you, if the trigger probability is lower than 50%, reverse them. The reset probability is 100% original probability. Wow, what a skill! With just one glance, Ling Yi understood the power of this talent. For example, if the probability of drawing an rank item is only 0.5%, in front of him, this probability will be reversed to 99.5%. For others, the probability is ridiculously low, but for him it is ridiculously high. The consumption of these 100 mutation points is so worth it. It was only at this moment that Ling Yi realized how powerful this super mutation system was. One mutation gave him this ability comparable to Goldfinger, so as long as this level of mutation occurs several times, isn't he invincible in minutes? It looks like this. His future path is more than easy. There is even an invincible possibility. Then, let's wait for the divine way to open tomorrow. Looking at the cloudy sunset outside the window, Ling Yi whispered softly. If ordinary people want to live longer, they shouldn't go out after dark. What the man next door said. Although Ling Yi is now a player, a level 1 player with no skills has the same combat power as an ordinary person, and is just as dangerous after going out. From the appearance of the Divine Way 20 years ago to the present, global players have risen to more than 200 million. Although they only account for 1/40 of the world's 8 billion people, they have the power to change the entire world. Therefore, the mainstream media reports are players' information, and the world revolves around them. There are not many of them. But what is undisputed is the theme of this era. On May 31st, 1 million players from all over the world cheered and celebrated. Others who fail to pass this selection will have to wait for the next month. Today's player selection, the number of players is a little more than the previous month. There are 4.706 billion people participating. Alas, the pass rate is too low. Why can't we open more places? Isn't it a place to fight monsters? As before, the Shenlue Forum has ushered in the peak period of monthly discussions. Tomorrow's session is so terrifying. Yet, here the North Bear Country God of War announced that his son has become a player today, and the White Eagle No. 1 Guild also announced that their young leader will officially enter the God's Path tomorrow, and each of the top 10 financial groups in the world has new players. Good news is out. I'm afraid this year's new players in June will break the upgrade record. Lin Qingyu is the school flower of Jianzhong University. At the same time, he is also one of the new players who will enter the Divine Way tomorrow. Looking at the various remarks on the forum, she was excited and nervous. What should I do? There are so many bigwigs this year, and I'm a little cute newbie under a lot of pressure. The girlfriends in the dormitory gathered around her and comforted her patiently. It's all right. You won't necessarily meet them. 1 million people in each session will be divided into 100 districts, with 10,000 people in each district. The probability of you meeting them is really not high. Besides, even if you do encounter it, it's a good thing. The girlfriend patted her shoulder again and said, "You are both competitors and teammates. Players in the same area have a common purpose." That's right. After being told by her best friend, Lin Qingyu gradually felt relieved. Instead of thinking about it here, it's better to arrange tomorrow's actions. To know. Everyone's time on the Divine Road is limited. After going in tomorrow, she must race against time to act. Don't waste a minute. At the same time, other new players around the world are also nervously reviewing their action plan after entering the path of God. How to upgrade quickly? Where do treasure chests appear more often? And so on, and so on. Everyone already has a clear plan in their hearts. June 1st. 0:00:00.00. Under the eagerly anticipated gaze of millions of people all over the world, a brilliant colorful beam of light fell from the sky at the instant of 0 minutes and 0 seconds, shrouding itself in the center. Then, a message unique to the way of the gods appeared in front of everyone. Congratulations, you have officially become a player. At this time, the monthly announcement of the new announcement also resounded across the world. Shenlu announcement, the new enrollment is completed this month, and the 200601100 area is officially opened. Hearing this emotionless neutral tone, countless people habitually looked up at the night sky. Looking at the golden letters floating in the air, some people rejoiced and others sighed. It's great, it's finally open. My unfit son is finally in. Ha 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 ha. It's another month, so fast. Alas, I failed to become a player in May, I will continue to work hard in June. You absorbed Li Ming's 71 excitement points. You absorbed Zhang San's 63 excitement points. You absorbed Zhang San's 39 points of expectation. You absorbed Li Si's 65 points of curiosity. You understand. After being sent into the road of God by the colorful beam of light, Ling Yi opened his eyes. In front of me is all the emotional information scrolling fast. The super mutation system can absorb the emotions of people around, and then convert them into mutation points. Yesterday, Ling Yi was still worried about whether the absorption process would be difficult. But now it seems that yesterday's worries were all in vain. Currently collected emotion value, 7482, mutation point, 0. Just standing here for a few seconds, so much emotional value has been collected. Isn't that surprising? He took a deep breath. After forcing himself to ignore the translucent emotional information in front of him that was still swiping the screen, Ling Yi raised his head while calming down his inner excitement. Take a look at your surroundings. Here is an extremely open plain, with yellowish-brown soil underfoot, and some flowers and weeds grow finely in the soil. A wooden fence with a length of several thousand meters surrounded the place, forming a small camp similar to a novice village. Apart from the players, there is only a 3-meter azure crystal in the camp. An incomparably huge forest surrounded the camp in a C shape, leaving only one exit on the front. The blue sky is full of white clouds. The sun shines on everyone, warm and comfortable. Ha ha ha! I finally entered the divine way. Hurry up, hurry up! Go, go, go! We will hit the coyote camp in 2 hours, everyone must be here on time. Of course, then I will surprise you. Ha 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 ha! Damn it! One by one running so fast. While Ling Yi was looking at the environment, the other players in the camp were like mad hungry wolves, throwing up their legs and rushing in all directions. Someone rushed forward, someone rushed into the woods. When he looked back again, there were only a few hundred people left in his field of vision. Is this the way of the gods? Sure enough, it's just a place to fight monsters, and there are no NPC missions. Did you know? You need experience to fight monsters, and skills also need to fight monsters to explode. If you don't fight monsters, there's nothing. Then we have to hurry. The two men communicated and hurried past Ling Yi. Just as he was about to start taking action, a message of the Divine Way suddenly appeared in front of him. Yu reading www.yuyuganshu.com. Welcome to the Way of God. Have you read the basic information? Read. Although yesterday I also read a lot of information about the way of the gods. But he doesn't know how much difference it is from the real one. To be on the safe side, take a look. Basic information of Shenlu 1. Players will get 3 hours of advent time every day, which can be accumulated infinitely. If the arrival time is 0, you will not be able to enter the Divine Way. 2. There are 4 maps in Shenlu. Only when players defeat the Demon King in the previous map, they can enter the next map. 3. All actions are decided by the players themselves. Finish hint: you are in the primary map, the current map level upper limit, 30 basic information is scarce. Mainly to let players know that their actions are completely free. What you want to do is up to you. If you want to become stronger, go fight monsters and upgrade. Those who don't want to become stronger, lie on the spot and sleep, or even go back immediately. Of course, basically no one will do that. After reading this basic information, Ling Yi didn't want to linger anymore. He shifted his gaze back and forth between the plain in front of him and the surrounding forest, thinking about where to go. The plain is endless, and if there are monsters, you can see it all at once, but there are too many people. It's just a waste of time if you quarrel with other players over things dropped by monsters and trigger conflicts. Let's go to the forest. Although the frequency of encountering monsters is a little lower, it is better to be stable. Thinking of this, Ling Yi turned his head to look at the forest on the left and right, and finally walked towards the forest on the right. Well known. Monsters are monsters created by Shenlu and are powerful. Even if it is only level 1, it is difficult for most novice players to deal with alone. Therefore, for new players who have just entered Shenlu also has a bonus in each player's backpack. There will be an initial skill option coupon. Initial skill option ticket. After use, you can choose one of the 5 initial skills to obtain. As long as the player has one of these skills, it will be much easier to deal with level 1 monsters. Before preparing to enter the woods, Ling Yi naturally also used this coupon. Next moment, a column of skill information appeared in front of him, and there were exactly 5 skills in one column. Ling Yi looked at each other in turn. Rush Fist, 1 star, quickly rush to the target and punch, knocking back the target and causing a small amount of damage. Physical Fitness, 1 star, passive, strengthen your physique and increase your strength and agility by 5 points. Fireball, 1 star, generate a fireball in the palm of the hand, throw it out and hit the enemy, it will cause a small amount of fire damage to it. Poison Mist, 1 star, releases a poisonous mist that lasts for 5 seconds on an area, causing enemies in the area to suffer a small amount of poison damage every second. Starfall, 1 star, guide a star to fall from the top of the enemy's head, 1 second delay, causing a small amount of damage to it. There is a small probability that another pill will be released. There is no profession in the way of the gods. The player's skills are all acquired by killing monsters. If you want to acquire a certain skill, you have to look for monsters with this skill. There is a chance to drop after being killed. Players can freely combine their own skills with great freedom. Looking at the 5 skills in this column, Ling Yi hesitated for a moment before choosing Starfall. Without him, just because he has the probability reversal talent, this kind of luck-based skill is the best match for him. You have obtained the 1 star skill Starfall. At this time, in his player backpack, the original item at the initial option ticket position has been replaced with Starfall. This is also the only item currently in his backpack. As long as Ling Yi is willing, he can learn this skill now. But he was in no hurry to study. Just because he saw Starfall, 1 star skill, mutation potential, very high, it's actually very high. Quick, mutate. Ling Yi was too lazy to express his surprise and joy, he just wanted to see the mutated new skills quickly. Are you sure you want to mutate the skill Starfall? 87 mutation points are required. Sure. Ling Yi glanced at the current emotional value. 13,786. That is, there are 137 variation points. After using it up, there are exactly 50 mutation points left. Right in front of him, the starfall skill blurred for a moment, and then quickly became clear. Ling Yi, who had a mutation experience, immediately knew that the mutation was over. Quickly click to view. Starfall, 1 star, can grow, guide a flame star to impact the target area, causing a lot of damage to everything in the area, 5 seconds delay. The flame star has a very small probability of being magnified 10 times. As expected of the mutation in the direction I expected. When mutating, Ling Yi hopes that the mutated skills can have higher damage, wider killing range, and an easier chance to trigger probability reversal. Now, the mutated starfall did perfectly meet his expectations. Without further ado, Ling Yi learned it immediately. The next second, a gleaming golden red starlight appeared and circled around him. It didn't gradually disappear until after counting the breaths. Although there was no feeling in the body, Ling Yi felt as if he could summon a meteor. It was as if he had awakened his superpowers. Mysterious and wonderful, it is unforgettable. Then next, with this skill that is far more powerful than a 1-star skill, Ling Yi has endless confidence in his heart. With a smile on his face, he stepped into the forest quickly. The sun shines down through the lush tree canopy, shining a little spot on the green grass. A bright yellow chicken is walking around here. It is not an ordinary chicken, but a primary monster in the way of the gods, a fighting chicken. Although they look no different from domestic roosters, their fighting power is no worse than that of machos. When Ling Yi walked out from behind a tree and saw it unexpectedly, it also came over because of the movement here. One person and one chicken looked at each other for a second. Then, cuckoo cuckoo, the fighting chicken flapped its wings violently, and while screaming, it flung its legs like a hot wheel, and rushed towards Ling Yi. Fuck! Ling Yi widened his eyes and said a word subconsciously, then turned around and ran behind the big tree beside him. When he bumped into this extraordinary existence, he suddenly realized that he had not made a battle plan. What should he do when he encounters a melee enemy? What should I do if I encounter a remote enemy? What shall I do now? When this question came to his mind, there was a result in his mind. Summon the flame star at your location. The starfall skill has a 5-second delay, and it is impossible to hit a moving enemy, so you can only predict the purpose of the enemy's action. And obviously, the melee type of fighting chickens will target themselves. In 5 seconds, it was almost the time when he had just started fighting with him. Thinking of this, Ling Yi no longer hesitated. Starfall. Calling out the skill name can greatly increase the success rate of releasing the skill. Because the release of all skills is determined by the player's will, and there is no obvious performance, it is difficult to determine whether the player really wants to use the skills or just think about it. Therefore, except for a few strong-willed people, most people have developed the habit of shouting skill names. With Ling Yi's voice falling in that several hundred meters in the air, Yu was reading www. A red gold spot suddenly appeared on yuyuganshu.com. Taking a closer look, it turned out to be a crimson ball of light with a diameter of 4 or 5 meters, and the ball of light was covered with golden flames. Between flights, a long golden tail flame was drawn. Is this the flame star? Seeing that it was flying in his direction, Ling Yi suddenly frowned. Speaking of which, this thing won't hurt me, will it? The flame star falling at high speed is very similar to a burning meteorite. Anyone who sees a burning meteorite falling towards him at a high speed will not be so calm. Hint: the way of God is extremely free, allowing players to self-harm Ling Yi. He didn't have time to express in decent language, so he ran away. It only took 5 seconds from appearing to landing, just a few seconds had passed. If you say one more word, maybe he will become the first rookie to commit suicide this year. When he quickly ran to a tree in front of him, there was a sharp and loud sound in the air. So, here. Ling Yi became nervous. He saw that the green grass around him was illuminated at that moment. It was like a flash of light suddenly appeared in the dark grass. Boom! Like a bomb exploding, a loud roar came from behind. The ground beneath his feet trembled slightly for a moment, and the branches and leaves on the cypress tree were blown off by the scattered wind, and they were falling down. Ling Yi stayed for a while longer, and when he saw that there was no other sound, he was slightly surprised. Thunder, little rain? Right. He suddenly remembered. After all, I'm only level 1, and my attributes are still low. No matter how strong the skills are, they won't be so strong. You killed the fighting chicken, LV1, experience +1. Seeing this news, Ling Yi raised his brows and immediately turned around and walked out with confidence. While walking, he patted the leaves on his shoulders, and at the same time he couldn't help but look forward. I see. In the area where he summoned the flame star, a dirt pit with a diameter of 5 meters had already appeared. The dirt in the pit was scalded red, and it was still emitting steaming heat. There were dense cracks in the land beside the pit, and the grass that had grown on it seemed to have been completely burnt out at that moment. The surviving green grass could be seen only 3 or 4 meters away from the pit, but it was also burnt to black. The destructive power was much greater than Ling Yi imagined. Obviously, this was already 10 times the result. I'm only level 1, so I can't have such a strong destructive power. It seems that it is all due to the mutation. Now the star fall after 10 times can almost destroy a tree. But later he became stronger. Maybe a village, a small town, or even a big city can be destroyed in an instant. After a moment of excitement, he stepped up and approached the big pit. As I got closer, I saw a 10 centimeter orange-yellow diamond-shaped crystal suspended at the bottom of the pit, and a shining point of light was spinning counterclockwise around the crystal. That orange-yellow crystal is the skill. And according to the number of light spots around it, it can be judged that it has only 1 star. Did you lose your skills? Did the probability reversal take effect? Ling Yi said to himself. The drop rate of the skill is very low. The first time he killed the skill, he had already decided that it was the function of talent. Whether it is specific or not, we will find out later if we kill more. He jumped down from the pit and picked up the orange-yellow crystal. Because he didn't have the exploration skills, he couldn't see the information of the crystal, so he put it in the player's backpack and checked it from the backpack. Iron Head Crash, 1 star, strengthen your head and smash into the enemy, causing a small amount of damage. Very ordinary skills. Ling Yi touched his chin and commented. In front of him, the super mutation system also gave mutation information. Iron Head Impact, 1 star skill, mutation potential, medium. Although there is a medium mutation potential, he does not intend to mutate it. It is actually very dangerous to hit the enemy with the head, and if you are not careful, it will turn into a head. And this move also. Ling Yi couldn't even tell what it felt like. Shame? Not fit? Not on grade? Anyway, he didn't want it. Besides, his constellation is also full, there is no place to put this skill. In the way of God. Although players can freely combine skills, it is not unlimited. If there is no limit, then everyone has learned all the skills they encounter, so everyone can develop omnipotently. In the end, everyone has the same skills, so what's the point? And this so-called restriction is the star position. As we all know, the skills in the way of the gods have stars. The higher the star, the higher the intensity. Matching this strength is the star position required for each skill. 1 star skills, occupy 1 star. 2 star skills, occupy 2 stars. 3 star skills, occupy 3 stars. If players want to learn new skills, they need to have enough stars. Where did the stars come from? Upgrade. Players start with 1 star position, and each subsequent level will gain 1 more star position. That is, the number of stars is the same as the current level. Therefore, the current level 1 Ling Yi has only 1 star position, and he has and can only have 1 star skill. Even if there is a spare star position after the upgrade, it is not necessary for all skills. Come back to your senses. Since it was determined that this skill is not needed, Ling Yi used the recycling function of Shenlu to recycle it. The 1 STAR skill Iron Head Impact has been recovered, and you have gained 10 gold coins. Gold coins are the only currency in the way of the gods, and they will be used in many aspects in the future. Okay, it's time to find the next monster. Jumping up from the pit, Ling Yi chose a random direction and continued to move forward. Half a minute ago, when the flame star with a diameter of 5 meters fell from a height of several hundred meters, many players saw it within a few kilometers. What is that? Meteorite. The players who saw this scene widened their eyes one after another, with expressions of disbelief on their faces. What's going on? Is it someone else's skills? It's impossible, right? How long has it been now? But if it's not the player's skill, could it be the monster's skill? I don't know where there are monsters that summon meteorites in the primary picture. But this is too exaggerated. Even if the skill was obtained from the treasure chest, the person who uses it should only be about level 1 now. How can there be such a perverted 1 STAR skill? Does it have serious side effects? Or is it the Krypton life skill? That's the only explanation. The people who were talking about it quickly guessed the possible results. The skill that summons meteorites is most likely a skill with serious side effects, or it is released at the cost of life. Where does the skill come from? As long as you are lucky enough to meet a treasure chest, it is not surprising to get a 1 STAR skill. Boom! 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 Somewhere in the green cypress forest, the Chen brothers are fighting against 2 fighting chickens. Hearing the roar that was getting closer and closer, their hearts gradually became impatient. Brother, hurry up! Listen to this voice, the person who summoned the meteorite is coming towards us. It doesn't matter if we die, but don't be robbed by him. Chen Dejia shouted to his younger brother not far away. He is tall and tall. With his skills, physical fitness and his own brute strength, Yu Kanshu www.yuyuganshu.com is now pressing a fighting chicken under him, smashing his fists like a hammer. Dying before level 10 has no penalty and immediately respawns in front of the camp crystal. He would rather die than gain experience. When Chen Xiaoi heard it, he nodded clearly, and immediately used his skills against another fighting chicken that was charging at him again not far away. Starfall! He shouted quickly and raised his hands to the sky. The next moment, a pale blue star the size of a fist appeared 1 meter above the fighting chicken's head, and after a short delay, it fell towards its head. Seemingly aware of the danger coming from his head, the fighting chicken immediately used an iron head strike. In an instant, the head of the fighting chicken suddenly turned bronze, as if suddenly wearing a bronze helmet. The whole body is like a sharp arrow, flying towards Chen Xiaoi. When the starlight hit its head, the chicken head of the fighting chicken trembled, and the chicken eyes were lost for a moment. However, even so, the speed of the rushing towards is still undiminished. Back in school, Chen Xiaoi has watched countless fighting chicken fighting videos, and he has also cultivated a good response there. As soon as he confirmed that the skill was successfully used, he dodged behind a tree next to him. Fighting by the tree was an excellent experience summed up by countless predecessors. And the reality is just as Chen Xiaoi thought. The fighting chicken flew by his side, and kept flying forward for a few meters before falling to the ground. Taking advantage of this opportunity, Chen Xiaoi used the Starfall skill again. Those players who learn Starfall and Fireball are basically fighting like Chen Xiaoi. When a black-haired boy came here on the ground covered with leaves, the battle between the Chen brothers and the 2 fighting chickens was not over yet. Seeing this player who was suspected of being able to summon meteorites appeared, the 2 of them felt anxious. For fear of the opponent stealing the monster. What puzzled the 2 of them was that the young man just glanced at this side lightly, and then continued to walk west. It seems that they are not interested in their prey. It was not until the young man left their sight that the Chen brothers felt a little relieved. After half a minute, the brother who killed both fighting chickens sat under a cypress tree and chatted while resting. It's really rare for people who haven't robbed monsters these days. It may be that the disadvantages of the skill have appeared. With such a strong power, the side effects must be great. That's right, is that guy the one who summoned the meteorite? Who knows? Leave him alone. Chen Daijia nodded, and then suddenly said, I just saw that person's eyes that were not interested in fighting chickens. I thought he was going to level 2. How is this possible? Chen Xiaoi smiled and shook his head. The fastest record for level 2 was 1 hour and 40 minutes, and now it's only less than half an hour. Even if he has such a powerful skill, his experience bar should be less than half. Not even a quarter. When the two were still talking and resting, the other side, Ling Yi, who continued to move westward, finally walked out of the C-shaped green cypress forest. As soon as he walked out, he saw a large grassy of 6 or 7 meters, nearly 2 stories high, in front of him. You need to climb up to see what's on the other side. Hey? Why is this grassy so high? Ling Yi pondered curiously as he walked over leisurely. When he started to climb the grassy slope, a system message suddenly appeared. Current area, Crimson Orchard Monster Information, Red Goblin, LV2 LV10, hint, there are many monsters in this area, it is best to come with your friends through TV yesterday, he learned a lot of information. For example, the farther you are from the camp, the higher the level of the monster, and the monster will take the initiative to attack the player when it sees it. But he only now knows what this area to the west of the green cypress forest is. When he climbed to the grassy and cautiously looked to the other side, an endless green plain appeared in his field of vision. On the plains are intricately grown fruit trees 5 or 6 meters high, and the fruit trees are all covered with unknown vermilion fruits. The vermilion fruit is big or small, the small one is about the size of an ordinary apple, and the big one is about half a meter in diameter. Under each fruit tree, there are more than a dozen hopping fruits. It must be the red fruit monster. Ling Yi lay there and looked carefully for a while, but did not find any difference between the red fruit monster and the fruit on the tree. Except for moving. Hey, that's too much to blame. At a glance, there are at least 1,000 of them. It was only what he could see. In the further distance, there must be more. Ling Yi didn't dare to appear in the sight of the red fruit monsters rashly. Once he went out, not to mention all of them, at least half of the monsters would find him. At that time, hundreds of monsters rushed towards him, and he couldn't stand it. No wonder Shen Lu suggested to bring a partner with you. If you really want to deal with the Red Goblin, how can you do it without thousands of people coming together? But that's someone else, my words. Thinking of the next scene, Ling Yi couldn't help showing a happy smile. He was lying on the grassy slope, hiding his entire body in the grass, looking down through the gap in the grass. Then he said softly, Xing Luo. The next second, in the air hundreds of meters high, the flame star appeared again. When the fiery red and bright flame star accelerated and fell, the red fruit monsters on the grassland below were still jumping in their place. These red fruit monsters, like giant red apples, have no eyes and no heads, and Ling Yi doesn't know if they have noticed the thread above their heads. Anyway, until the flame star fell to the ground and burst open, the 2 red fruit monsters in the area did not evade. Died together under the flame star. You killed the red fruit monster, LV2, experience +2. Congratulations, you have enough experience, and now it will be automatically upgraded to level 2 for you. You killed the red fruit monster, LV2, experience +1. You have gained 5 free attribute points. It's level 2. Ling Yi looked up at the time. Remaining arrival time, 2 hours 34 minutes. It's been 26 minutes since I've been here, and I've only been upgraded to level 2. I don't know if it's slow or fast. He knew that it was difficult to upgrade the divine way. But he didn't know how difficult it was. In the morning, I heard from the uncle next door that it might be difficult for the strong to gain some experience after fighting all afternoon. The reason is because the way of God does not allow the abuse of vegetables. Players have no experience in killing monsters lower than their own level. Killing monsters of the same level as their own has 1 experience, killing 2 points higher than their own level 1, and 3 points higher than their own level 2. A level 90 player only needs 1 experience point to kill a level 90 monster. And a battle of that level is often indistinguishable within a few hours. Shaking his head and throwing the distracting thoughts out of his mind, Ling Yi opened the personal panel, ready to start adding more. Last night, he decided the route he would take in the future. That is full repair. Be an almighty strong man who has both physical output and spell output, can lose skills at a distance and melee combat, and can kill and save people. He has a super mutation system. If he only improves one aspect like the others, it will be a waste of the system's ability. And since you want to grow in this area, add some. Well, let's add mana first. At present, the higher the mana, the stronger the power of my starfall. Yu reading www.yuyuganshu.com. The faster you clear monsters, the faster you upgrade. Currently, his first task is to upgrade. The sooner you reach level 10, the better. Thinking of this, Ling Yi stopped wasting time, and hurriedly added 5 attribute points to his mana. Take another look at the personal panel. Name, Ling Yi level, 2, 1/300, talent, probability reversal strength, 3 mana, 10 agility, 3 constitution, 3 stamina, 3 skill, starfall, 1 star, remaining constellation, 1 evaluation of combat power, ordinary people with greater destructive power. It's still an ordinary person, it's very objective. Why doesn't Ling Yi want to make himself infinitely powerful, as fast as the wind, and possessing a combat power that surpasses that of ordinary people? But the most important thing right now is to upgrade. Everything else can stand aside. After closing the personal panel, he once again turned his attention to the grassland below. Hey! Let me see the power of this starfall now. Ling Yi pushed aside a small piece of tender grass in front of him and said softly, Xing Luo. At the same time, he looked up at the blue sky. In the sky at a similar height, a red-gold light spot suddenly appeared, rushing towards this grassland at the same speed as before. The altitude and speed are the same as before. But the flame star is twice as big. 10 meters in diameter. High looking at the flame star that was bombarding the grassland like a missile, Ling Yi subconsciously took a breath. I'm so strong at level 2. It can only be said that it is the credit of the mutation system. Whether it is the skill starfall itself, or the probability reversal that allows him to summon 10 times the flame star again and again, both are products of the mutation system. The combination of the two sides has exerted a terrifying power that far exceeds the players at this stage. You killed the red fruit monster, LV2, experience +1. You killed the red fruit monster, LV4, experience +3. You killed the red fruit monster, LV3, experience +2. A series of killing information emerged. Open the panel and look at the experience bar again. LV2, 15/300. With 1 skill, you can get more than 10 points of experience, and the speed of gaining experience is much faster than before. If this goes on, maybe I can level up again in 10 minutes. After you reach level 3, your skills are more powerful, you can spawn monsters faster, and you can quickly level up to level 4. A virtuous circle. As long as you continue to work hard without slack, your advantage will become bigger and bigger. Ling Yi couldn't hide his excited expression, and he became more confident about his future path of complete cultivation. Come on! Cheering for himself softly, he accelerated the release of his skills. Using skills is expendable. But luckily, another of the 2 novice benefits of Shenlu is to increase the player's physical strength by 100 times. Therefore, players before level 10 can release their skills without worrying about physical strength. You killed the red fruit monster, LV5, experience plus 4. You killed it. After only 8 minutes, the level 2 experience bar was full. Congratulations, you have enough experience, now it will be automatically upgraded to level 3 for you. You have gained 5 free attribute points. When adding all the attribute points to the mana and using Starfall again, as Ling Yi expected, the diameter of the flame star increased to 15 meters. The power is stronger. When Ling Yi was still immersed in the joy of faster monster spawning, a message of the Divine Way suddenly appeared. Hint: with enough proficiency, your growth skill Starfall has risen to 2 stars. Rising star? So fast! Seeing this news, Ling Yi's eyes widened in surprise. But think carefully. So far, he has used this skill more than 100 times. This amount of usage has raised the skill from 1 star to 2 stars, which is actually very reasonable. He hurriedly opened the skill details and checked the Starfall after the rising star. Starfall, 2 stars, growable, guide a flame star to impact the target area, causing a lot of damage to everything in the area, 5 seconds delay. The flame star has a very small probability of being magnified 10 times. Ling Yi was full of question marks. The effect hasn't changed at all. He looked at the effect of the skill twice, and after confirming that it was really the same as before, he planned to try it out. After all, there are many factors in skills that will not appear in the specific description. Changes are only known after use. Lying on the grassy slope, he raised his head slightly, looked at the sky, and said softly, "Xing Luo." The voice fell. Then I saw that red golden light appeared in the sky higher than before, about 300 or 400 meters above the ground. Oh! The flame star has grown taller. Just seeing this, Ling Yi understood. Known skills have a 5-second delay, that is, there is a 5-second time from the appearance of the flame star to the attack to the target area. Under the condition that the time remains the same, as the height increases, the falling speed will inevitably increase. The faster the falling speed, the stronger the impact on the ground. Simply put, the damage to the ground is even greater. What happened next confirmed his guess. When the flame star fell to the ground, a loud bang sounded like a thunder on the ground, and the shock wave that erupted in an instant rushed towards all directions, carrying the majestic golden flames. The 30-meter-wide grassland was burned to the ground in just 1 or 2 seconds, turning it into a piece of bare dry land. All the red fruit monsters within the range were directly melted in that instant. A large crater with a diameter of 15 meters appeared in the area directly impacted by the flame star, and the deepest part was about the height of an adult. There were originally 2 trees within the range, one of which was in the core attack zone, that one was gone. And another on the edge of the flame star's destruction range, now burning in golden flames. You killed it. Time flies by. 2 hours have passed since the opening of the Divine Road this year. On the plain outside the camp, the players who had been rushing to level up came back here one by one. Including Ling Yi. He is now sitting on a piece of grass, looking at the other players who are constantly rushing back from all directions, with some expectations in his heart. We're going to fight the Prairie Wolf camp together later, I don't know how high the others are. Beside him, several young people were chatting. Prairie Wolf camp is a prerequisite for opening the main road. Only when it is cleared can we enter the main road of Shenlu and officially embark on the road of eliminating the Demon King. The main road is the core area of the Divine Road. It was a dangerous road with countless powerful monsters and various bosses. It requires players from all over the region to work together to conquer it. The Demon King is at the end of the main road. Without killing it, everyone will not be able to enter the intermediate map, and will not be able to break through the level cap of 30. It can be said. In front of the main road, other areas are wild. By the way, how old are you all? How many more levels can there be? Who can reach level 2 now who is not a genius? Hey, I'm lucky, just level 2. I'm almost there too, I'm about a dozen or so experience points away. Hearing what the people next to him said, Ling Yi couldn't help frowning. Yu reading www.yuyuganshu.com. What? Now that it's great to upgrade to level 2? He looked at the few people carefully, and found that the person who said that he was already level 2 was proud of himself, as if it was a very remarkable achievement to be promoted to level 2 now. Others looked at him with envy. It doesn't look like she's talking nonsense. That. What the are you at level 7? Name, Ling Yi level, 7, 17/800. Mana, 35. Omitted, don't they have a shortcut for quick upgrades? No way to quickly upgrade. Ling Yi whispered to himself with a puzzled look on his face. He knew that he was leveling up quickly, and maybe no one could catch up, but he didn't dare to underestimate the world. In his opinion, it has been 20 years since the Divine Way came, and people in this world must have discovered a strategy that he didn't know and could quickly upgrade. Through that strategy, it may be difficult to rise to his current level, but it should be possible to level 5 or 6. No. It's too early to draw conclusions based on these few people alone. Those descendants of the strong and the new generation of major forces must have a higher level. As soon as the voice fell, Ling Yi heard a commotion in the distance. Looking up, I saw hundreds of people walking in this direction. At the front are several high-spirited young people, who seem to be celebrities, attracting the attention of the surrounding players. When they came over, the other players who were watching everywhere also got up one by one and walked towards them. It's almost time. Everyone is gathering. The Prairie Wolf camp is located in the north of the plain, 3 kilometers away from the player camp. When the players in Area 66 came here, they saw 2 continuous vertical rock walls. Looking up, I can't see the top at all. As if they were at the bottom of a cliff. Between the 2 rock walls is a gap called one line of sky, about 50 meters wide. A 5-meter-high wooden fence from the east rock face to the west rock face blocked the entrance to this line of sky. Behind the wooden fence, is the Steppe Wolf camp. Except for the few players who didn't come, the more than 9,000 people present consciously did not approach, but spread out one after another, posing a battle at the entrance of this line of heaven. The Prairie Wolf camp is small, and if players enter, there will be heavy casualties. The best way is to break open the wooden bars and let them come out on their own. And this task of opening is also regarded as an honor by countless people, because it symbolizes the official opening of the road to the main road. In order to pray for the smooth conquest of the main road, each district will choose a powerful player who can convince the public to open it. Area 66 is no exception. And now, on a small piece of grass in front of the wooden fence, dozens of players who were elected by the crowd gathered together. Some are foreign stars, some are well-known wealthy businessmen, and some are children of the powerful. All these people have one thing in common: they are not ordinary players. Al-Han, a wealthy businessman from the White Elephant country, glanced at the few people present, and said directly, "Time is limited, let's order it directly. It's like experience. The one with the most experience, let's go." How? Everyone looked at each other a few times, then nodded, all affirming the proposal. In the past, everyone basically used this as a basis. Seeing the crowd nodding, Al-Han said with joy on his face, "Then let me start this first." When the voice fell, he confidently revealed his experience bar. Level 2. 122/300 Level 2 122 experience. When everyone saw it, they all showed different expressions. Some people sighed inwardly with a gloomy expression, some widened their eyes in surprise, and some looked slightly relieved. The player with less experience than him shook his head and took the initiative to withdraw from the competition. More than 30 people walked in a row. There were 20 or 30 people on the spot. Seeing this scene, Al-Khan opened his mouth wide in surprise. "Haha, is it surprising?" Beside him, Australian star Casey smiled lightly, then stretched out his hand and waved in the air, and his experience bar appeared. Level 2, 137/300. Wow! It's 15 points higher than Alcon. So amazing! The few people who had just exited exclaimed in a low voice. After seeing Casey's experience bar, several people quit with regret. Immediately afterwards, other people also showed their experience, each time getting better and better. Level 2, 139/300. Level 2, 146/300. Level 2, 151/300. Level 2, 173/300. When the last experience bar was revealed, everyone was amazed. The experience of level 2 and 173 is really terrifying. Yet, I don't know how to do it, it's too fierce. Everyone turned their attention to the young man who stood in the center of the crowd like the stars in the moon. His name is Wang Tian's, and he is the man with so much experience. If there is no one taller than me, then I will accept it. Wang Tian's looked around and saw that no one had any objection, so he showed a smile that he thought was handsome. Just as he was about to walk towards the wooden fence, a voice suddenly came from behind, "Wait!" This is a crisp and cold female voice. Everyone was a little surprised and looked back. I saw a girl with wavy hair and delicate pale golden eyes walking slowly from behind. The girl was wearing a grey jacket with black edges. The zipper was not closed, revealing a white short sleeve with a butterfly pattern printed on it. The bottom half of the short sleeve was tucked into her jet black shorts. The bottom of the coat was at the same level as her pant legs. This resulted in the snow-white thighs directly under the jacket when viewed from the side. It's actually her. She's actually in this area. I am so panicked. It's better to stay away from her. These wealthy businessmen and celebrities obviously knew this girl, and they all showed shock. When Wang Tian saw her, he stepped back subconsciously, then took a deep breath, and said in surprise, "Luo. Luo Yao. It is the daughter of the world's top powerhouse who is walking towards them now. Her father is a strong man who can rank in the top 30 in the world. To know that level of combat power has long replaced the nuclear of the old era and has become the most important strategic deterrent force for major powers today. No country can be called a big country without that kind of combat power. It is conceivable that family members of this kind of combat power will inevitably be strictly protected by various countries. If other people are provoked, I am afraid the sun will be invisible the next day." It was because Wang Tian's and others knew this that they were so surprised to see her. It's fine for foreign players, but Chengxia players don't dare to get too close to her. After all, no one wants to get in trouble. Then you can drive." When Luo Yao approached, Wang Tian swallowed and said, "In front of this person, he really didn't dare to show off. Otherwise, once there is any messy news, it will not benefit him." Luo Yao stopped, glanced at him lightly, then swept her gaze to the others, and said slowly, "Everyone uses experience to compare, and I won't break the rules." Said, revealing his own experience. Level 2, 292/300. When everyone saw it, their eyes were about to pop out. 292. Many people thought they had read it wrong, and quickly rubbed their eyes and read it several times. But no matter how many times you watch it, the values are still the same. Oh my god! I almost reached level 3. This must be the fastest leveling speed in the history of Shenlu. That's right. As long as you kill a few more advanced prairie wolves later, won't you be able to properly upgrade to level 3? It's crazy, this session is really scary. After obtaining Luo Yao's consent, the group of people from Yu reading www.yuyuganshu.com brought this shocking news to more than 9,000 players in the periphery. During this period, Luo Yao also stepped forward, and a fireball broke open the wooden fence. At this time, in the wooden fence, the prairie wolves woke up one after another. "Beauty, what are they doing?" Half a minute ago, Ling Yi saw dozens of people gathered in front of the wooden fence, as if they were discussing something. Curious, he asked the beautiful woman next to him. You do not know. Lin Qingyu looked at Ling Yi in surprise, and then found out this boy. Pretty handsome. Without thinking much, Lin Qingyu coughed lightly and explained, they are choosing someone to open the wooden fence leading to the main road. Oh. Ling Yi gave a strange oh. That's it? What a waste of time. But now he is not in a hurry. Capo can't get experience anymore, because the red fruit monster that is close to it is only level 6 at the highest, and he has no experience if he kills it at level 7. The high-level red goblin was farther away, and with his current casting range of about 400 meters, he couldn't hit it. Unless Xingluo continues to rise, or shows up by himself. But if you show up, all the red fruit monsters of level 2, level 3, level 4, level 5 will rush towards you. It's okay to die before level 10, but it's not worth it for him to die once and then run back for a few points of experience. Just as everyone gathered, he came over together. He heard people say that although most of the grassland wolf camps are below level 5, there are also many high-level monsters. Those are his goals. Ling Yi looked from a distance, and saw a girl in a grey coat with white thighs smashing the fireball into the wooden fence. After throwing several fireballs one after another, the wooden fence was burnt to a small hole with a diameter of about 1 meter. To this, Ling Yi's evaluation is, it's okay. Don't look at him now that he can summon a flame star with a diameter of 35 meters. But that is 10 times the size, under normal circumstances, only 3.5 meters. Even with the same mana, the fireball's power is far less powerful than his own flame star. What's more, he just heard that the guy is only level 2. At this level, the mana is at most 10 points, which is normal. By the way, it turns out that level 2 is really high now. Ling Yi touched his chin and whispered to himself. When it came out that the woman named Luo Yao had level 2 292 experience a few seconds ago, there was an uproar in the player group. Through the reactions of thousands of people, Ling Yi had to admit the fact that it is really difficult to gain experience. I also know how outrageous my level 7 is. Once it comes out, I'm afraid the whole world will explode. Fortunately, Shenluo attaches great importance to the privacy of players, and there is nothing to view other players' information. Unless I take the initiative to show it, everyone will not know my level. Ling Yi secretly said in his heart. This is also the reason why he is so relieved now. Come back to your senses. He turned his gaze to the distance again, and saw silver-grey wolves rushing out of the wooden fence, rushing towards the players surrounded by the wooden fence. Those players did not fight them, but retreated quickly. The intention is to free up a larger battle space for everyone to fight. Come, come. The coyote has come out. Ha ha ha, I can't wait. The surrounding players were excitedly gearing up, staring at the silver wolves with fiery eyes, as if they were looking at the experience points of movement. If it wasn't for rational restraint, I'm afraid everyone would rush up impatiently. Just when everyone was ready to move. Behind the huge wooden fence, a very loud wolf howl suddenly came out. Oh oh! The howling of the wolf lasted for 5 or 6 seconds. During this period, the entire plain was extremely quiet. The strong sunlight shone on this grassland. Ling Yi raised his left hand to block the sunlight, and glanced at the other players curiously. He felt like he was a newcomer, and he didn't know this or that. The wolf howl just now obviously represented something, otherwise these people wouldn't show that surprised and irritated expression. Ling Yi didn't know what it was. But he wanted to laugh when he saw this group of people showing a unified expression. You absorbed Zhongwu's 31 surprise points, you absorbed Li Ming's 78 depression points, you absorbed Wang Yuan's 65 points of helplessness. Damn it! It was discovered by the Wolf King. Before Ling Yi waited long, someone next to him exclaimed in surprise. It's over, the Wolf King has the halo of group strengthening, and we are not the opponent of the Wolf group at all. It doesn't sleep well in its cave, what is it doing out of it? This has happened before. I remember that it was by consuming physical strength to restore the disadvantage. Because we have 100 times physical strength recovery in the novice stage, but the monsters do not. Then what are you waiting for? Run! While the surrounding people were discussing, the huge wooden fence in the distance was overturned by some force, and it fell to the grass with a bang. When everyone saw it, what were the prairie wolves that were not lined up in a row? After the row of prairie wolves pushed off the wooden fence, they immediately rushed out. Behind them, a group of prairie wolves were streaming out of the caves in all directions. Hai Ling Yi took a look and took a deep breath. Fuck! So many! It was the first time he saw such a scene. Thousands of wolves ran together, like an incomparably huge, fast-moving silver carpet, with a cursory sweep, one could not even see the greenness of the grass. Among the wolves, a 5-meter-tall giant wolf stood out. When the other wolves were rushing towards the player, it stood arrogantly in its place, staring coldly at the retreating player. Obviously, it is the Wolf King. I heard that it is only a level 10 leader monster. This distance, just within my attack range? Ling Yi was thinking about whether to launch an attack or not, when Lin Qingyu suddenly pulled him and ran back, saying, "Why are you still standing there? Run!" What? Lin Qingyu was so strong that Ling Yi was forced to run after him. This woman actually chose fitness skills. He looked at her slender back in amazement. It was really hard to imagine that a girl would choose this reckless skill. After all, their innate strength is not as high as that of men, so choosing this skill has little advantage. Unless you are confident in your close combat ability. Without thinking too much, Ling Yi turned his head to look around, and found that everyone was fleeing towards the south at full speed, and the slow ones were directly overtaken by the wolves. I was sent back to the city for free. That's it. More than 9,000 people were chased by the Wolf King with 10,000 wolves from the north of the plain to the center of the plain, only a few hundred meters away from the camp. You can't retreat anymore. If you retreat, you'll be at the camp. At this point, everyone knew that it was time to fight. The crystals in the camp are not invincible. Once destroyed by monsters, all the people in the map cannot be resurrected. Therefore, just in case, absolutely cannot lead monsters into the camp. The stamina consumption tactics are really useful, at least the wolves no longer have the momentum they had just now. The players carefully looked at the wolves chasing in the distance, and found that their speed was significantly reduced, and the fierce light in their eyes was not as strong as before. It's far from the intimidating aura that just broke out of the fence. At the moment, many people were slightly excited again. Maybe we can fight back. One of the strong men with this idea had excited eyes, rushed towards a wolf full of momentum, and threw up his fists the size of a sandbag and smashed it violently. Although the wolf was trying his best to resist, he looked weak and powerless. Soon died under the fist of the strong man. See this scene. All players have ignited their confidence. Charge! Kill the wolves! Ha ha ha, the stamina consumption tactics are also very useful. Although it can only be used in the novice stage, this is a great contribution. When the players fight against the wolves. Next to the wooden fence at the entrance of the camp, Ling Yi put his hands on his knees, bent over and gasped. Who? Hey, haven't you exercised for a long time? Are you still so tired with sufficient physical strength to recover? Lin Qingyu on the side flipped his hair without blushing, feeling speechless at the young man whose back was sore after running 3 kilometers. After the appearance of Shen Lu, the whole world has paid more attention to physical fitness. Who hasn't intentionally trained physical fitness since childhood? Ling Yi was too lazy to answer. He really hasn't exercised for a long time. Although I have enough physical strength now, I still have back pain and feel like my thighs are going to cramp. It will be more serious tomorrow. Noticing Lin Qingyu's strange gaze, Ling Yi twitched the corners of his mouth and forced himself to straighten up. Recovered? She asked with a wink of her beautiful eyes. Reluctantly. Before he could finish speaking, the girl in front of him squeezed his arm hard, causing him to scream in agony. The two had only known each other for a long time, so they only knew each other's names and that they were also players in Qianzhong City. I don't know, I thought the two were in another intimate relationship. Lin Qingyu thought this young man named Ling Yi was very interesting. Not only do you not know enough about the way of the gods, but also your own physical strength is not good enough. Like a salted fish who never thought he would become a player. Like everyone else, they are fully prepared. Seeing her appearance, who was about the same age as herself, she pursed her tender lips and asked, "You should know about our city's genius plan, right?" "No." "Then you have to hurry up later. Before the prairie wolves recover, try to kill more. Otherwise, the upgrade will be slow, and there will be no quota for the genius plan." Hearing this, Ling Yi raised his eyebrows subconsciously, a strange look flashed across his face. "What level are you?" he asked. "I." Lin Qingyu folded her arms, showing a confident smile, and said, "Oh, I already have level 2 and 15 experience. And you?" "Me, I'm just 100 million higher than you." "Taller than me?" "A little." Lin Qingyu frowned slightly and looked him up and down with those eyes with strong suspicion. Obviously, he doubts the veracity of his words. But there was a fight in the distance, she didn't have time to chat with Ling Yi, and after giving him a curious look, she jumped forward nimbly. In the blink of an eye, he had already run more than 10 meters. "It's quite fast." Looking at her back, Ling Yi murmured softly. Then he raised his head and looked into the distance. Ignoring the player who was fighting fiercely with the prairie wolves in the field, he looked straight at the 5-meter-high prairie wolf king. It still stood there arrogantly, letting the breeze blow its soft silver-blue hair. When the wind blows from the bottom to the top, all the hairs dance with the wind, as if a faint blue flame is ignited on its body. Like a marshal in the army, he sits in the middle of the army without moving. Just standing there quietly puts a lot of pressure on all players. Of course, Ling Yi was not included. "Since you don't want to move, then I'll use my skills. I hope you don't hide." Ling Yi smiled and looked at the time while talking. Remaining arrival time, 36 minutes. He raised his hand and launched Starfall towards the area where the Wolf King was. Next moment, a huge flame star with a diameter of 35 meters suddenly appeared high in the sky. After killing a level 2 prairie wolf, Luo Yao retreated from the battle zone. "Congratulations, you have enough experience, now it will be automatically upgraded to level 3 for you." Finally level 3. As soon as she smiled, she felt a strong pain in her leg. The slender eyebrows frowned slightly. Looking down, he saw that there were several wounds 3 or 4 centimeters long on the originally flawless white calf, and blood was flowing from there. Tisk! Seeing this scene, she clenched her silver teeth and frowned even more. At this moment, a voice came from her mind, "Go back, it's pointless to stay here. The prairie wolves are recovering quickly, and it will be too late if they don't leave." There is also a soul in Luo Yao's body. The owner of the soul is Qin Menjia, who used to be the first pride of Shengxia's younger generation. Half a month ago, in a raid against her, she died. In order to prevent her from being resurrected, the enemy also burned her body. But because of the effect of a certain class item, her soul escaped, and she chose to board Luo Yao, who was still an ordinary person at the time. Only when Luo Yao grows to the same level as before her death, that is, level 72, can she be fully resurrected. Therefore, in order to resurrect herself, she will spare no effort to support her and help her level up. "All right," Luo Yao replied with a heartfelt voice. There was obvious regret in his tone. If she hadn't met the Wolf King, she would definitely gain more experience now. And just as Luo Yao turned around and was about to return to the camp to recover from his injuries, a louder and louder roar suddenly came from the air. Hearing the sound, it seemed like some kind of giant was rapidly falling from the sky. Chirp! Luo Yao looked up suspiciously, and at a glance, she saw the huge flame star that was accelerating down from the sky. Not only her, but almost everyone and wolves nearby were startled by the increasingly loud terrifying sound, and they couldn't help but look up into the air. Fug! What is that? Burning meteorite. The crimson core of the golden flame, isn't this the one that appeared 2 hours ago? It's just several times bigger than before. It really is someone else's skill, right? But this is too outrageous. Impossible? How can there be players who can reach this level now, even if it is a skill with drawbacks, but this is too much. The players exclaimed one by one, in disbelief at this huge flame star. Anyone with knowledge of player power knows that the attack range of most skills is proportional to their attributes. The most classic example, 10 points of mana can easily create a fireball with a diameter of 1 meter. With 100 mana points you can easily create a fireball with a diameter of 10 meters. And so on. The flame star with a diameter of 35 meters, which is rapidly falling now, can easily give people an idea. Has the user's mana reached 350? You must know that if there is no attribute blessing from other aspects, players have to achieve this attribute, but only at level 70. In other words, the flaming star in front of you is equivalent to an attack from a level 70 naked player with full mana growth. How not shocking! Even in the outside world, a level 70 player is enough to be called a city powerhouse. This. Luo Yao stared dumbfoundedly at the fall of this mysterious meteor. Yu reading www.yuuganshu.com didn't react until the latter hit the plane and erupted with an astonishing shock wave. This is an attack from a novice player. The extremely high temperature golden flames spread rapidly in all directions like a storm, evaporating all life forms in the core attack zone. The invisible heat wave rushed towards the surrounding players, as if they were stranded in the furnace to be roasted. At the moment when the sun is in the sky, when the sun is strong, it is swept away by the erupting flames, and the temperature in the surrounding area of several hundred meters has risen significantly. The air is even hotter. At this moment, Luo Yao had forgotten the pain in her legs, and she felt that her worldview was shaking. Fortunately, she was determined and quickly recovered from the shock. No matter how strong you are, it is someone else's. I just need to improve myself. Although he was so comforting himself, his words were extremely powerless. After all, who doesn't wonder how that was done? Who wouldn't want to be so powerful at a low level? If everyone can do that, then her current efforts are a joke. But soon, Qin Menjia, who lived in her soul, comforted her. It's really surprising. In fact, if Qin Menjia hadn't seen it with her own eyes, she wouldn't have believed this absurd fact. But Luo Yao, you don't have to think too much, it must be an extremely rare case. There is no need to change our growth plans just because one person appears. As long as you grow up as planned, you will become the strongest person in the district sooner or later.